The stronghold just collapsed from the inside, and it did not fall as everybody had anticipated, so pay close attention, family. In front of the entire world, William Leonard Roberts' multi-million-dollar enterprise, which he has been constructing brick by brick for the past 17 years, suddenly fell apart. And Rick Ross, as the world has known him, will never again don that armor in the same manner. The world saw Rick Ross enter every room as if he owned the ceiling for more than 15 years. Federal audits were dismissed by Rick Ross. Street feuds were dismissed by Rick Ross. With a new Cuban cigar, a diamond-studded wrist, and a taste of champagne more expensive than most people's monthly rent, Rick Ross shrugged off every online attack. The pool was posted by Rick Ross. The home was uploaded by Rick Ross. Music, the fleet of antique vehicles, was posted by Rick Ross. Like a warlord calculating his tribute, Rick Ross shared pictures of the inside of a private plane and the diamond-encrusted watches. Music, however, the Golden Curtain was violently pulled off the stage late yesterday afternoon, and the world was shocked by what they saw behind it. 45 seconds of unaltered, high-definition surveillance footage taken straight from the master office wing of Rick Ross's 109-room promised land estate were released by a trusted source who worked as his personal private chef for 4 years in a row. And this is the circumstance. There isn't a boss in the video. There isn't a kingpin in the video. There isn't a mogul in the video. A shattered, sobbing guy can be seen in the video grasping his own head and shaking his hands as if he had just witnessed his entire life burn down in front of him. Rick Ross isn't performing in that clip, so take a moment to consider that. Music, Rick Ross isn't posing. No one is being clowned by Rick Ross. Rick Ross isn't grinning at the camera. Rick Ross is not raising a fistful of diamonds. The intense psychological warfare that Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, Rick Ross's everlasting rival, has launched on him is causing him to fully collapse in real time. The intimidating, untouchable underworld kingpin reputation has entirely vanished, leaving only unadulterated fear. A mask of authentic human anguish has taken the place of the theatrical smile. Heavy, ragged tears have overtaken the bass-heavy chuckle. This is when things start to change. The leaked video of Rick Ross sobbing wasn't just reposted by 50 Music. Sent 50 became nuclear. 50 threatened to reveal the precise private pleading texts Rick Ross reportedly sent him from behind the mansion office door at 3 in the morning by launching a second, well-planned digital explosion. For the following few minutes, pay close attention as we dissect the minute details captured within that shadowy office. The bombshell public declaration made by the chef, the speakerphone recording that was leaked and hidden behind the sobs, the dark business connections that no one anticipated, and the corporate wildfire that is presently compelling Rick Ross staff to engage in emergency damage management. The ground beneath the largest Boss brand is vanishing in real time, and every 90 minutes a new piece of evidence is dropped, making it impossible to turn away for even a split second. Music, you have to go all the way back on the tape to grasp the scope of the conflict that drove Rick Ross to this breaking point in order to comprehend how a 45-second clip could destroy a 17-year mythos. The rivalry between Curtis Jackson and Rick Ross has been the most intense, intimate, and strategic rivalry in modern hip-hop history for over 20 years. This isn't one of those little back-and-forth radio feuds that fade away in the summer heat and are forgotten by fall. Federal courtrooms have become the battlefield for this conflict. Private asset declarations have become the battleground for this conflict. Boardrooms, record release meetings, and never-ending daily online trolling campaigns have all been used to wage this conflict. Additionally, Rick Ross gravely miscalculated something that 50 Cent, being 50 Cent, has always known. Leverage is perception. Furthermore, leverage is crucial. The man who controls the story, the finances, the tours, the endorsements, and eventually the legacy in this society. Rick Ross attempted to manage it by using images of opulence. Over the course of 17 years, 50 Cent used surgical humiliation to manage it, and one tactic subtly destroyed the other. To cut to the chase, the match was made back in 2008 at the BET Hip Hop Awards. Hip-hop legend states that in a backstage hallway, 50 Music, Cent, perched atop his global gunnet throne, shot Rick Ross a chilly, contemptuous gaze. According to other sources, it was a smirk. According to other reports, there was a shoulder brush. According to several accounts, there was complete quiet. However, that one look turned into a deadly insult that could not be ignored by Rick Music Ross, who at the time was actively creating a super macho drug lord mystique around his Maybach music brand. In early 2009, Rick Ross Music took the lead by releasing the infamous Mafia music single, which included scathing references to 50 Cent's private life. However, 50 Cent did not respond with a rap verse. 50 did not respond with a disc record. 50 underwent surgery. In a matter of weeks, 50 Cent retrieved official data from the Florida Department of Corrections and exposed Rick Ross as William Roberts, a former correctional officer who served 18 months in a Florida state jail during the mid-1990s. The moniker that has plagued him ever since was imprinted on him by 50. Officer Ricky was a nickname designed like a scalpel to instantly execute his street reputation. 50 cartoons have been released. 50 voicemails were leaked. Interviews with Rick Ross's baby mother were published in 50. 50 disclosed so much personal information that everyone in the industry stared in shock. That discovery would have been a cold-blooded, career-ending blow to any other performer in any other age. However, you're well aware of what Rick Ross accomplished. Rick Ross refused to give up. Rick Ross did not back down. Rick Ross would not go away. Rick Ross, on the other hand, leaned more toward the story of luxury, made Maybach Music Group a formidable force, signed hitmakers like as Meek Mill, Whale, Stolly, and Rocky Music fresh, and began enveloping himself in the visual armor of excessive affluence as to a night-dawning plate mail before combat. Rick Ross purchased Vander Holyfield's former Georgia estate, a vast 54,000-foot fortress with a 350,000-gallon pool, exclusive highway access, a bowling alley, a personal recording studio wing, and a dining hall large enough to accommodate 100 guests in an attempt to outdo 50 Cent financially. Using that estate as a visual weapon, Rick Ross filmed himself by the pool and, with chains iced out, teased 50 Cent with pictures of old cars and diamond stacks, hosted his own yearly reunion, held car shows there, and transformed every square inch of the property into a stage for the biggest boss theater. For years, whenever 50 Cent faltered in court, Rick Ross rode that extravagance like a chariot. Most famously, 50 Cent was ordered to pay $7 million for a private recording that was released in 2015. Music, the decision that led to his well-reported Chapter 11 filing. Rick Ross ruthlessly ridiculed 50 Cent's financial situation over that whole period. On podcast after podcast, Rick Ross boasted that his legal team felt terrible for him after looking at 50 Cent's bank records during discovery. Rick Ross presented himself as the wiser mogul, the more disciplined CEO, the better label head, the wealthier businessman, and the unconcerned boss. In radio interview after radio interview, Rick Ross listed the number of bedrooms, baths, acres, square footage of his estate, and the number of automobiles parked in his garage. Rick Ross flaunted his ownership of a fast food chain. Rick Ross Music showcased his collaborations with Checkers and Wingstop. Rick Ross showed off his book. Rick Ross flaunted his autobiography. Rick Ross flexed to the point that it turned into a caricature. However, Rick Ross made a catastrophic mistake by underestimating this. No one in the culture is as adept at the long game as Curtis Jackson. 50 Music Cent was discreetly constructing a media empire the size of a small nation while Rick Ross was showing off on television. The multi-billion-dollar power television world began with 50. 50 homes in Las Vegas are locked. 50 signed significant film production contracts with high-end networks. In Shreveport, Louisiana, 50 established a huge studio complex that is said to be on par with the largest independent studios in the American South. 50 discreetly amassed a liquor business valued at 9 figures by launching Sire Spirits with Branson Cognac and Lutchman Du Roy Champagne. After securing his financial immunity through his television empire, 50 Cent turned around and, with a terrifyingly controlled focus, aimed the gun at Rick Ross. With the patience of a chess expert, 50 Cent unleashed a scorching digital campaign over the past year that was designed to gradually destroy Rick Ross' biggest boss image. Rick Ross's appearance as a special guest opening act for older musicians on the Millennium Tour was constantly ridiculed by 50, who said that Ross had to hitch a ride under the banner of 90s acts since he could no longer sell out an arena on his own. 50 publicly ridiculed Rick Ross on Instagram for mowing the lawn on his own 300-acre estate, turning his favorite pastime into evidence that he couldn't afford hiring a groundskeeper and had to set up the lawnmower himself. Additionally, 50 Cent reportedly sent Rick Ross $40,000 in public with a note stating that the money was for a jet charter because the biggest boss was somehow seated in economy class next to families with strollers after viral photos of Ross waiting at a commercial airport gate went viral. The internet was destroyed by just one stunt. Like a stab in the ribs, that one stunt became ingrained in the society. Inside Rick Ross' inner circle, the pressure had been mounting like a steam pipe that was sealed behind the walls of the house. In order to demonstrate his relevancy, Rick Ross continued to publish pictures of himself with rappers half his age, offer 50 Cent jobs cleaning, music, yachts, hold up million-dollar rings on podcasts, and maintain his theatrical smile on camera. However, beyond the mansion's walls, the biggest boss brand was being subtly undermined by the weight of international ridicule, growing business pressure, changing industry trends, streaming figures, and generational relevance struggles. Tense management meetings were rumored by insiders. Tour dates were rescheduled, according to insiders. Insiders gossiped about phone conversations that concluded with someone yelling. A complete emotional breakdown was imminent. But none anticipated the ultimate treachery to leave the kitchen with a smartphone and a pot. At precisely 3:15 p.m., the Dawn Nation went online last afternoon. Additionally, it didn't appear in a typical news source. Within 20 minutes, it was viciously cross-posted on every major hip-hop relay hub on X, Instagram, Music, YouTube, TikTok, and Threads after erupting on a secret subscription-based insider channel. A confirmed digital timestamp from earlier that morning was seen in the video taken by a high-angle security camera inside Rick Ross's exclusive main office suite. The image is startling. The image is memorable. The type of item that forms a lasting cultural memory is the visual. 45 seconds of grainy security camera truth wiped away 2 decades of celebrity mythology. Only the ambient illumination of a large desktop monitor on a polished mahogany desk illuminates the gloomy room. Open financial ledgers, business contract files, and formal legal notices in red-trimmed white envelopes cover the desk itself. William Leonard Roberts rests in the luxurious leather recliner with his head buried in his arms while donning a silk designer robe. 50 Cent's most recent viral trolling broadcast, a video dissecting Rick Ross tour ticket sales, his fast food franchise overhead costs, his commercial flight photos, and his alleged problems with property tax filings in the state of Georgia are all playing on a music loop on the monitor screen directly in front of him. Rick Ross remains still during the first 15 seconds of the video, resembling a grief-carved monument. Then it all falls apart. Rick Ross removes his hands, exposing a face contorted by unadulterated emotional pain. The guy who claimed to be untouchable for 15 years starts crying hysterically. Tears flow freely down his cheeks and vanish into his beard as loud, audible sobs reverberate off the office walls. In utter desperation, Rick Ross snatches a stack of paper documents from the desk, shuffles them with shaking hands, and smacks his fist against the wooden top, causing pens to roll and a glass of amber liquid to tremble on its coaster. Rick Ross uses the silk robe's sleeve to wipe his eyes. He is breathing heavily, his chest heaving, and he is utterly shattered by the weight of humiliation on a worldwide scale. A written statement from Rick Ross's former personal private chef, who had prepared meals inside the promised land house for more than 4 years, was included in the leak. Shortly after uploading the file to encrypted cloud storage, the chef unexpectedly packed his bags and left the estate. The chef's terrifying justification for violating his non-disclosure agreement went viral on the internet. He claimed that he could no longer stand the falsehoods, which is why he was uploading the video. He claimed to have prepared meals for Rick Ross every day for 4 years. He claimed to have seen Rick Ross pretend to smile haughtily for the Instagram cameras before yelling at the houseworkers in the kitchen because 50 Cent had shared another meme. He said that after opening certified legal letters on his desk that morning, Rick Ross had fully lost it. The largest boss character, he wrote, is a complete fabrication created for stage lights and cameras. He said that the entire household has been treading carefully for months as Rick Ross sobs in the office over online trolls, and that he is afraid, drowning in business debt, and witnessing tour partners fall out. Rick Ross had ceased having supper with the family, he wrote. Rick Ross had begun to sleep at the workplace, he wrote. The audience needs to see the true guy behind the curtain, he said. There was no response from the internet. The internet exploded. The video received over 8 million views throughout relay channels and mirror uploads in under 90 minutes. The figure surpassed 20 million in just 3 hours. Comment sections debated if the video was staged, genuine, music, or a deepfake produced by artificial intelligence. It was like a fever dream generated by the collective fantasy of the internet that Rick Ross, the legendary rapper whose whole brand is based on bass-heavy bravado, was sitting in a silk robe and crying over 50 Cent's Instagram posts. Emergency feeds were broadcast by podcasters. Barbershops stopped talking. Screenshots brightened up group discussions. The story took its first disastrous turn just as the internet was beginning to process the raw shock of the tearful video. An insight that transformed a depressing private experience into a business execution. Using high-frequency isolation tools, an independent digital audio forensic team examined the background hiss in the 45-second footage that had been released. The same type of instruments used in wiretap analysis by law enforcement. Additionally, they extracted an active speaker phone call from the background noise that was gently playing in the room during Rick Ross' breakdown, flipping the entire story sideways. In the tone of a hospital administrator reading death papers, a senior business official from a large worldwide music distribution company was giving a chilly, robotic, and terrible ultimatum during the conversation. The executive informed Rick Ross that the Q2 brand impression numbers had been evaluated by the board. The executive informed Rick Ross that the approaching record rollout's economic value was being negatively impacted by the ongoing internet mockery of the tour billing and the commercial flight optics. The executive informed Rick Ross that the lead single's streaming estimates had been lowered by 40%. The executive informed Rick Ross that the board had formally voted and that the label will utilize the emergency provision to freeze the $3 million marketing budget for the entire project indefinitely until further notice if Rick Ross was unable to address the public crisis with Curtis by Friday. Go back and read that. Rick Ross wasn't sobbing over a humorous meme. Rick Ross wasn't sobbing over a little joke on Instagram. Rick Ross wasn't grieving over a bruised ego or wounded pride. Rick Ross was crying because 50 Cent's persistent, well-planned trolling campaign had managed to infiltrate the corporate boardrooms behind closed doors, resulting in a financial freeze that might potentially paralyze the genuine Rick Ross music company in real time. Hurt sentiments were not being handled by the largest boss. A corporate stranger was reading the funeral notice over a speaker phone while the largest boss watched his own income engines shut down in front of him. Inside a boardroom risk assessment document, every trolling post, commercial airline meme, boat cleaning joke, and lawnmower photo had been silently, painstakingly mathematically building up until the figures eventually screamed loud enough to compel executive action. By 7 p.m. Like an untamed wildfire riding a canyon wind, the devastation was spreading over international digital networks. In less than 6 hours, 15 million posts were generated by trending tags for the chef leak, the mansion tears, the promised land collapse, and the 50 Cent Ross implosion, which held the top 4 positions on X worldwide. Hip-hop commentary channels, blogs, mainstream media, and music all rushed to cover what was rapidly turning into the largest viral celebrity controversy of the decade. All of the culture's biggest podcasts went live. In America, every barbershop ceased mid-fade. Bright red notification storms illuminated every group chat. After the second turn of events, the incident went from being a public relations catastrophe to being fully executed online. You already knew 50 Cent if you thought he would have any mercy at all for a rival who was having a personal breakdown. His brand is already familiar to you. His creed is already known to you. Rather than taking the high road, 50 Cent downloaded the leaked video of him sobbing, posted it directly to his main Instagram account, and combined it with a dramatic, sardonic classical violin accompaniment. Within 30 seconds, the heartbreaking moment became a global meme. In less than half an hour, the post received 1 million likes. However, 50 Cent wasn't done yet. The final warhead, a high-resolution screenshot of a private encrypted direct message thread received from Rick Ross' verified handle barely 3 weeks prior to the breach, was released by 50 20 minutes later. Additionally, a glimpse of Rick Ross that the public had never seen and was never supposed to view was disclosed in the messages transmitted in the dead of night from a site designated in the Miami